Welcome to the Tony the Prophet channel for the championship weekend. Thanks for tuning in. We had a little better last week. I was 2-2 on what I put on the video, but technically I was 3-1 because when the line in the Rams-Bears game moved to 4.5, I bet on Sunday. Had two bets on the Bears with the points. It just was too much. So I was 4-0 straight up, which puts me at 7-3 straight up against the spread. I was 3-3 the week before, so if you give me 3-1, I'm 6-4. If not, I'm 5-5. But we had I had Denver. That was check. Even though the refs, I don't know, that was a little bit sketchy, but it is what it is. That play should have been reviewed more. They did everything they can. McDermott had to call a timeout to get him to even look at it, which is a disgrace. There were many games, many plays with less at stake and less to look at that they reviewed for longer. So anyways, we had Seattle. That was a smash spot. I was off on the Houston. I had Houston, so I get Chicago. But that was just a disgrace. Stroud, was done. He throws 4 picks in one half. The Houston defense kept them in the game. It was 21-16 at one point, and they just couldn't hang on. And you just can't win like that. I would have put Mills in, which was really devastating for them. As Schultz went down, he had a 42-yard reception in the first quarter on the first touchdown drive, and if he had been in, I think they could have dumped the ball off to him and get some better results. But I would have put Mills in the second half. You're playing for everything. You're not worried about hurting the guy's feelings at that point. So anyways, that was last week, so we move on. Now the first game, the Patriots minus 4.5. I've changed my mind on this game this week. A big problem for the Patriots is their O-line. May was sacked 5 times in both playoff games, and so the Denver defense is good. They're playing at home. Stidham, I didn't have a lot of respect for. The guy's only played 4 games. He hasn't played in a game in 25 months. However, Sean Payton is a good coach with backup quarterbacks. I was doing some research and found that he's 16-4 with backup quarterbacks. They can scheme some stuff up. They are at home at altitude. They have a great defense, although I got to say last week it was disgusting as far as Denver did give up 30 points, and if they called that other one a catch, it would have been 37 points. They probably would have scored. They gave up 183 yards rushing and 266 yards passing. Now, the 183 yards rushing is the key to the game. Can the Patriots with Stevenson and Henderson rush the ball? If they can, like the Bills did, they're going to win. And, for Denver, can they rush the ball with Harvey, which the Patriots had traditionally all year been like in the top 5 and far as giving up. It was about week 11 or 12 before they had a 100-yard rusher against them. So it can Denver run the ball to keep the pressure off Stidham. I think Stidham, Peyton is smart. He'll give him a lot of packages where you'll see that they will have, dump offs to the running back, short passes to the tight ends. I don't think a guy like Mims is going to be in play. I don't think he's going to have time or be able to throw the bombs to him. You got Gonzalez on Sutton. Some people I respect have been saying Sutton over yards. Now, I don't know if Gonzalez is going to be on him 100% of the time, but if he is, I don't know. I don't know if he can get to 50 yards around this prop. So, anyways, these Patriots are definitely the better spread team covering wise. Patriots 16-3, and this is the main reason why I was on the Patriots originally. Patriots 16-3, 8-0 against the spread away. 8-0 straight up on the road, and then 7-1 against the spread on the road this year. They've been one of the best road teams, along with Seattle. And then Denver, on the other hand, they're 15-3. They're 9-1 at home straight up. They play close games, but versus the spread, they're only 8-10, and they're 6-4 at home. So they do play a little better. So that tells me you only covered 2 games on the road. Thank God they got the number 1 seed. So if you boil this all down, I think this is an under game. I bet that this morning. DraftKings has 43.5. You better grab that. Everybody else is 42.5. That gives you a point advantage. So I bet that this morning. But, Sean Payton will have to pull out all the stops. Can they get turnovers on defense? Can they sack May? And for Denver, can they keep it close? Can Stidham do something? His odds to throw a pick are like minus 186, so Vegas believes he's going to throw a pick. If you got guts, put 2. But anyways, in the final analysis, Patriots are the better team, I think, overall. They're both coached very well. It's like Patriots 21-17, 20-16, somewhere in there. Would it surprise me if Denver won? No. But, with Stidham, that's a long shot. If this was with Bo Nix, the spread, instead of being plus 4.5, would be minus 1.5. And I think Denver would probably pull it out at home against the Patriots, which are the luckiest team on the planet. They had to play teams with a win. Not that they haven't been good, and not that they haven't won these games. So you only play who's on the schedule. But they had a .391% winning percentage against the teams that they played. So they had the easiest schedule by far. And then I think you admit in the playoffs they had a pretty easy run to this point. So anyways, we'll move on to the next game to keep this succinct and going. I have Rams plus 2.5. Now, this is the best matchup. This is the real Super Bowl. This game will be better than the Super Bowl. These teams are dead even. And the 2 games that they've played, Rams have scored 58 points. Seattle has scored 57 points. The Rams have 830 total yards of offense, and Seattle has 829 total yards of offense. So you couldn't get any closer. Rams in the last game had that 30-14 lead in the fourth quarter. Seattle needed a miracle. They had probably a 1% chance to win that game, to get the Shaheed run back, and then the game, and then they go ahead. The Rams come back and tie it. They go to overtime, and the craziest 2-point play you'll ever see in your life to win the game. And it was controversial, whatever, but it was probably the right call. So my point is, if these 2 games are decided by a 1.5, and you're getting 2.5 points, why not take the Rams? So the only thing bothering me about this game, taking the Rams with the points, is that the Rams have 1 day less rest. They played on Sunday night. Seattle played on Saturday night, and they didn't have to travel. And that overtime game, that the Rams defense was on the field for like 80 plays. So we've kind of seen teams that go to overtime and get beat up a little, and there's frigid conditions. But you got to give the Rams credit. A very mentally tough team to go to a venue where the temperature is 70, 75 degrees difference to what you're used to, and to hang in there, and then on the last drive be able to get the pick, which was, in my estimation, a questionable play. You're very close to the field goal line. You run the ball, or 5-yard screen pass, or to the tight end, get a few more yards, kick the field goal, and go home. So again, like I said, there's more teams that lose games than teams win it. So anyways, Donald, if you look at what Seattle wants to do, they don't want Donald throwing the ball a lot. Okay, he's had 6 picks in these 2 games. And last week against San Francisco, he didn't have to. He had 17 attempts. In the 2 games against the Rams, he had 33 attempts and 44 attempts. So the more he throws, the more bad things happen. So I bet him for 2 picks. 1 is a gimme. I mean, it's too juiced. It was like 190, something like that, minus 190. You got to parlay with something. But I got plus 290 for 2 picks. If you have real guts, do 3 picks, it's plus 900. I don't think that's going to happen, but I mean, it could. Uh, but the key for the Rams to this matchup is Puka Nakua. Seattle cannot stop him. He had 150 yards a game. He gets 32% target share in these games. He gets 4.76 yards per route run. He had 19 receptions, 300 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And he's the real key. Now, the key for Seattle is, can they run the ball? Now, a big loss is they lost Charbonnet. Not that Walker can't run and get touchdowns, but Charbonnet's the bigger back. He's better at the goal line. They gave him the ball at the goal line most of the times last year, or this past year. Uh, Walker, if he scored, had to be on a longer run. But they could still run the ball. I know some people, Helene, the other running back, uh, he was plus 900 to get a touchdown. Some people are betting him, figuring that it's a long shot. He's down to about plus 600. So there's some money going on him. But that's a St. Jude's bet. I wouldn't. I don't know if I touch that. Throw $10 if you like that, but I don't. But um, two teams that good winning, good covering. Rams 14-5 straight up, 12-7 against the spread, 6-5 away. Seattle 15-3 straight up, 13-5 against the spread, 5-4 at home. Seattle has always played better on the road. They were the best road team in the NFL for the past 2 or 3 years. So, and then the Rams play better at home. So you kind of get these teams that, as far as the spread analysis goes, are kind of opposite. But I don't know how much that would mean. Rams 13-7 against the spread their last 20, 9-2 against the spread their last 11 in Seattle, and then conversely, Seattle 10-3 against the spread last 13, 0-6 at home games against the Rams. Now sometimes that gets to be meaningless because these games when they played were years ago, and these rosters change 35% of the personnel every year, so it may be meaningless, but it is a trend. But I think this game is extremely close again. Seattle being at home should win, but the Rams are tough. They're well coached. Puka factor. I'm going to call for the upset, but even if I lose, it's within the 2.5. That's how close this game is. And if you're worried by the hook, I think it's up to minus 130. I was looking at that because I think with the hook you're guaranteed. At least to the worst case you get a push. But I have it like Rams 31-30. Would I be surprised if it's Seattle 31-30 or Seattle 30-28 or Rams 28-27? I think it's that close. So the margin of these games is 1.5 points. The line's 2.5 points. I'll take the points. I could be wrong. And Seattle at home, and the Rams run out of gas from last week. But this is the Super Bowl. Would they, I got to look at will there be overtime with these teams? Usually you can get plus 1,000, plus 1,100. I mean, I think that'd be a good play to throw $10 to try to walk away with a C note. But anyways, so that's it. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be here. Maybe not next week, but the week before the Super Bowl. We'll look at the spread. We'll look at some props I like, and we'll give it. And then I want to put a recap on the year. If I don't do it the Super Bowl week, stay tuned. There'll be a recap week after the Super Bowl. So thanks for tuning in, and good luck.